Some years ago, what took place, something announced itself here, inside my own heart. It was so clear, it was not a projection. It was not imagination. I was not practicing anything particularly, but I asked for help. I felt it was brought to my attention that something, I asked for help, and help came in the form of some inner announcement inside my heart. It was so pronounced, so clear, that it was not a projection, you see. And I knew in this moment, I never thought, is my mind tricking me or something like this, I don't know. Even before this time, you knew that mind does something is, when your mind is playing. I didn't talk or feel that mind is, since what I hear people speak about. I just think it's just nonsense, when your mind, you're pushing it a bit, or when you're judging something, something feels wrong or something. Oh, this is the only way I knew about mind. But this feeling inside was so clear. It was a deep touching, something was touched. And it didn't start like a huge tornado or something. It was a soft stirring. It's like the dimmer switch of sensitivity was turned up. And there's a heightened sense of perception, of awareness that sunlight is beautiful, things start like this. It was like a childish wonder about this life, and began to look at my body like, wow, whose hand is this? And things like it's coming innocently like this. But it grew in intensity and peace and a joy, and it was so clear for me. There was no suspicion about what it could be. And I say, I walked out of my life for this. Meaning, I gave everything. Somewhere in my heart I say, I give everything. Whatever it is considered to be mine, which is very little actually. But I turn it over to you, who have come to visit. Because I felt it was a visitation from something very holy come inside. And my own mind has its own way of interpreting, but it wasn't strong against this presence. And somehow something says, okay, it's your house. Do with it what you want to do. Still, the mind didn't evacuate straight away. It was in there. But gradually, there was a taking over of this. And I could not wait. I wanted the whole thing to finish. Go, take it all out. Get rid of him. Yeah, get rid of him. Because everywhere where I felt myself to be, that's where the trouble was. That's where the nuisance was. That's where the pretense was. And I knew this power was here. And it wasn't a conjuring trick. It wasn't like a little magician's trick. It was something beautiful. It felt the most natural in one way, and yet extraordinary in another sense. So years later, I come to hear people say, well, I don't know if it is my mind. I says, what kind of mind have you got? When you're in love, you don't say, oh, I wonder if it's my mind playing tricks on me. You know it is love. When something moves like this in you, that you're touched in a way that no human being, can create this space, this joy. And some people, when they fall in love, they feel that, they say. But this clarity in space, this sense of being home, how we can mistake it? So this pull, for many people, is a pull to just to surrender everything. Say, look, whatever. It's just, here it is, here I am. Do with me. Throw me off the mountain. Throw me off the mountain if you want. I did not know anything about inquiry in those days. It was simply, do what you want with this. Take it. What is it? What use is it to me, actually? I don't consider up until then that I had a boring life. I was having fun, but this, nothing like this. You see. Then somehow it was the grace of God that brought me to the feet of Papaji. Brought me to Ramana Maharshi, to inquiry, because until I was 33 years old, I never read one book. two books I read, one at school. I was not inclined to read books. If you saw me with a book, it's because it had pictures in it. I like pictures. And then I felt a strong urge inside. I wanted to read about all of this thing, what it's about. I tried, but also it wasn't really working. And then I encountered Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, a little bit, started Paramahamsa Yogananda, find some things. But Ramakrishna was the one that first appealed inside my heart. I said, yes, this one. Although he is clearly a Hindu, worship Mother Kali, I didn't know what it's all about, but his language completely universal. Okay, I rode inside his language for a while because it was confirming itself inside my own heart about it. And how something like self-inquiry could have planted its seed inside this being, I can't tell you. I said only by Bhagwan's grace it could come. I had no interest. The first time I saw anything about self-inquiry, I wanted to run 1 mile. I thought, this is not for me. But it became clear, and then it became so powerfully announced in my being. I saw there was nothing as clear and as potent at exposing ego and untrue as this Atma-vichara, inquiring into one's nature. So this I share with you. And grace is here. And the power of God is here. Space is here. All of it is here. So this is all I can say. Sometimes you meet occasionally people here, even in the street sometimes. They come with a sense of urgency, and there's no effort to communicate. If it's words are needed, words flow with such beauty and potency, and the mind is washed away. Pure seeing remains. And I encourage within all who come, your nature is this. It's pure. It's perfect. It's whole. From the beginning, it was never dirtied. All this is just imagined. Just imagine, all imaginings. And here is the waking room, not the waiting room. The waking room to the self. Wake up from it. And some are waking one by one, two by two, they come. It's happening. Some of you will not notice the extent of your dissolution until you go back to the West. Then you see what powerful grace has been working in you. And also, some of your greatest struggles will take place here also. Because here it's difficult for your mind to hide. Still, some people develop that skill. But for those who come with a sense of some urgency, who feel the touch, the taste, the pull for freedom, you can never go back the way you came here. Has to be. Enough evidence has been shown also that what I'm speaking about is nothing far from you. It is your own inmost reality. It's your own simple truth, simple truth. If anything I fail is at the words we use, I don't know. But they're only pointers to that. I do my part somehow as the beingness here. You have to do your part as the beingness there. The two has to come together, where the listening finds its own resonance and frequency within your own being. Just pointing to that. And I feel it's clear enough. It's clear enough. At a certain point, the beingness simply remains with itself, marinating in beingness. It's losing interest in otherness, all the other stuff, the extraneous stuff. It's losing, cooling down by itself. Have you not noticed? It's pulled to self-focusing, and tremendous power and sweetness is coming out. Yes. So this part, sometimes a few moments come like this, and it's a real struggle. The mind is there. I include you also into this when I speak like this. I don't push you away. But when you feel how caked up the mind becomes, how much energy has been given to our mental projections, and how it's somehow suffocating the spontaneity and the dance of the being. And sometimes you're right to call for some, strong handling. Sometimes strong in intense experiences is what it will take to open up the pipes. But always I include everybody in this opportunity, that you have come for the highest discovery. And the highest is always the most simple and most natural, what is effortless, which does not need the mind to sustain it, pointing to that which you already are. If you are not already this, then we can say, okay, some of you are fit and others are not fit. But because it's what we are already, and only to see through all the guises, all the layers of concepts and ideas that are eclipsing this intuitive seeing, you see. Some of you have been here now for a few weeks. Many have run. Some has to go. But even if you're here for a day or two, sometimes it's enough. If that recognition is taking place, then you know that you are not your thinking, you're not your conditioning. But somehow it surprises me, if you went to the doctor and they did a scan on you, and then he calls you, excuse me, ma'am, sir, will you come into the office, please? Then he says, who is your next of kin? Already you are palpitating fiercely. Please sit down. Have you got anybody with you? Already you are not going to forget this day. You're not going to forget this moment. Yeah? We found a little, oh my God, no, please, I can't bear it. You won't be tonight going to party. You won't enjoy it because this message is in you. And here you're discovering a greater message, that you are eternal. And not just being told to you, oh, believe this. No, show you how you are. To bring you to the place where you cannot refute this seeing. And something goes, yeah, okay. You would imagine that if you discover this, how much we're afraid to die, and now you're being shown how you can never die. I would have thought it would have made a stronger impression inside your heart. Then you have to say, look, please, then help me to finish off this kind of doubt in me, because now I've seen the truth. I'm seeing this, but my mind still keeps coming in, and I'm keep purchasing for a while, like a reflex. I'm going there. He said, don't worry, the needle is in, the medicine is in, it's doing its work. The mind will flop about for a bit. It's okay. You keep quiet. Okay. Thank you.